What's up everyone, Off the Cuff Reviews here. My name's Alex and today I have a special new video. We're diving back into a list of movies that I've curated for you, but this time it's on Netflix, so let's get into it. So the last video that I did, that was like a list curated film video I did for Tubi. So those were all movies that were on Tubi at the time. This is a list of movies that are on Netflix. Again, I'm in Canada, so this might vary country to country, but you can also just use a VPN if that's the case. But with that said, let's dive into it, and I want to do more lists like this. I think the next one might actually be another Tubi list because I want to dive into some like sub-genres, like more niche stuff that I found on Tubi that I didn't really talk about in my first video. And yeah, I want to like dive into like more deep cuts that you can find on these streaming services. And by the way, if I ever give you guys a movie recommendation in these lists, even if you go and you try to watch it, or maybe like you watch this video and it's like a year from now and they already took some of these movies off, go watch one of these movies anyway if you haven't seen it yet. Just, you know, you don't have to just watch it just because it's on Netflix. Like if it's on another streaming service that you guys like or whatever, even if you guys watch it somewhere else, go ahead and check these movies out. These are just movies that I'm just recommending. But like I said, this time they are on Netflix. So let's get into it. The first movie that we're going to be talking about today is a horror movie, and it is Talk to Me. So Talk to Me is by the Felipe brothers. I believe that's how you say their name. And they are a YouTube duo who, like I said, like they came from YouTube. They were making a lot of videos about just like doing like behind the scenes stuff, like making their own little skits and movies and stuff like that and stunts, and they kind of grew over the years and they wanted to do this more ambitious project, which is Talk to Me. And this movie, I feel like, brings a lot of innovative filmmaking to the table. There are some things that they do in this movie that you're not seeing in some other movies, especially nowadays. So this movie is about a haunted hand that kind of takes over once you touch it, and that premise alone might not get you interested in this, but like I said, there is innovative filmmaking going on, and they had a really good knack with this movie where they were able to get older audiences and a younger, more modern audience and have them coexist and enjoy the same movie at the same time. There's another movie on this list that I saw as a teenager, and it was a movie that was a little bit more modern for a younger audience that like older audiences can still enjoy. The next one on this list is also a horror movie, and it is Orphan First Kill. Orphan First Kill is a sequel to the movie Orphan. Orphan is a movie that has garnered a cult status over the years, and that's pretty much the only reason they even made this sequel, because if most audiences that saw the first one when it first came out, if they had their way, there wouldn't be a sequel, because a lot of people didn't like Orphan when it came out. They didn't really, like, they didn't get the appeal. But after the years, it kind of garnered a cult following and audience where people really started to understand why this movie worked so well, why it was so scary for the time. And then they made a sequel to that, and I think it's cool because I think it's cool that they kind of carried this on for a newer audience, even though this one I don't think is as good as the first one. If you guys don't know, the first movie is about a little girl who's an orphan and she gets adopted into a family, but there's more sinister elements at play, and everything just kind of goes off the rails. So they made this other one. You guys can still enjoy this if you haven't seen it. Go check it out. Like I said, it's called Orphan First Kill. It is on Netflix. Switching gears, we're gonna be diving into a comedy. This comedy is a movie that I saw when it came out in theaters, and it kind of became a comfort movie of sorts. It's not amazing, but I feel like there are some laughs there, and it can have more of like a family fun atmosphere to it where, you know, other members of the family can enjoy this movie, not just like the dad or the mom or whoever. Everyone can enjoy this. There's a little bit of everything in this. This is Grown Ups. It's by Adam Sandler. Has all the same guys in it. David Spade, you know, Chris Rock, all the guys that Adam Sandler hangs around with. And I understand some of the people that are in this movie are controversial. I get it. But this is just like a bare bones comedy. I think you guys can enjoy this even to this day. Like I said, it's a comfort movie. Go revisit it if you haven't, or if you haven't seen it in a while, go check it out. If you haven't seen it at all, it's like a good afternoon watch, or maybe like a movie that you would throw on before bed. The next one on this list is actually two movies. Two Netflix originals. And we're switching gears again. We're gonna be getting into action now. These movies are the Extraction films. Extraction 1 and 2. Like I said, they're Netflix properties. These are movies for people who really like action movies. And you know, I grew up only watching action movies and horror. These movies are for like the people who like the shoot 'em up. There's like a guy, an action star who's saving the day. You know what I mean? My only real gripe with this movie is some of the plot, you know, it's so crazy, and also it's a little yellow. Like, these movies are very yellow. Maybe that's like a niche thing to say, but if you kind of catch my drift, maybe you'll understand. Those elements that I just mentioned are what took me out of these movies, but I'm recommending them to you if you guys are into action movies. Check them out. They have some really cool practical effects that they mixed in with visual effects that look really sick, some really cool stunt work, so go check it out. The next one on this list, it needs no introduction. This is a movie by Christopher Nolan. It is one of his like most beloved movies. It is Interstellar. And let me tell you, when I saw this in the theater a couple times when it first came out, and I loved it. But when I first heard of the movie, you know, I didn't think they were gonna be able to pull this movie off, because, you know, it has Christopher Nolan, and yeah, Christopher Nolan is whatever. Like, some of his movies are hit or miss. Some of them I really enjoy. So it's kind of like, okay, whatever, maybe Christopher Nolan, whatever. But then Matthew McConaughey was attached, and I was like, I don't know, Matthew McConaughey, space movie, brother, But this movie surprised me on pretty much all aspects. Interstellar is so good. All of the performances are amazing. The directing is really good. And if you guys didn't know, they actually created a piece of software to create the visuals for the black hole scene. But let me tell you this, that piece of software that they created for this movie specifically, they had trained scientists on it, working on it, and they used that to be able to actually make a model of what a black hole actually looks like in real life. And that's so sick. That is a really cool fact that I think you guys, like, if you guys didn't know, maybe go check out some of the behind the scenes, because they put a lot of work into this movie, and I think it turned out amazing. Next movie on this list is Hereditary. This is a comfort movie for Ashley. It's directed by Ari Aster, and it's a horror movie about grief. And some of these work, some of them don't, but I feel like this one really works. Toni Collette giving the best performance of her career? Go check it out. This one is in the vein of Talk to Me a little bit, and I feel like if you guys have seen both of those movies, maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it's so good. The performances are amazing. I thought the writing was really good. Everything about that movie was stellar. Go check it out. The next one on this list is the movie that I was talking about earlier that I compared to Talk to Me. This is called Disturbia. This movie stars Shia LaBeouf. Yes, he is controversial, but put that aside. The reason why I'm comparing that to Talk to Me is because of the fact that this movie came out when I was a teenager. It came out in 2007, and this movie was a movie that hit hard, just like Talk to Me does, for the younger generations, and I like that about this movie. Obviously, this movie is not rated R, it's PG-13. Talk to Me is rated R, it has more gore in it, and I understand, I get it. But what I think is cool about this is that they are also able to draw in some of the older generations, because this is a movie that is similar to Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock. This is a movie, or did Alfred Hitchcock do that? Whatever, Rear Window, you know, you catch my drift. That's the movie I'm thinking of. And it's a movie that is in the vein of like older movies, and I feel like it's just a modern take on it for a younger audience, which is cool. That's kind of a little bit of what Talk to Me did. I like that. I like this. I like the performances in it. I get it. Shia LaBeouf's controversial. If you haven't seen Disturbia, go check it out. I think it holds up to this day. And the last one on this list I want to talk about is Leave the World Behind. This is based on a book, and it is very similar to Knock at the Cabin, which is based on Cabin at the End of the World, I believe it's called, by Paul Tremblay. And it's very, very similar. It's a very, 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 very similar movie. Except that I feel like some of the religious aspects were taken out of, like, if you compare it to Knock at the Cabin has a little bit more like a religious tinge to it, whereas Leave the World Behind doesn't really have that. It's more of like just like apocalyptic and disaster, and there's some other sinister aspects at play, and it's almost like a puzzle that you're trying to like put together and piece together. And some people didn't enjoy it just based on the ending alone. But I feel like that's cool. It is a movie that may get you talking, which I like, whether you liked the movie or not. I think it's cool that it gets people talking. That's what we like. We want to talk about these. That's why I'm recommending a lot of movies, different types of movies. I like talking about movies, obviously. So, there you go. That was my list of Netflix movies that you guys can go check out right now. And like I said, if you're watching this movie and you go check Netflix and one of the movies I said are not there, go ahead and go check out other platforms. Go watch one of these movies if you haven't seen them yet. Go check them out. Come back, report back in the comments. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Like I said, it's going to be a Tubi recommendations for some more niche stuff, and I think it's going to be really cool, so be on the lookout for that. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Stay safe, everyone. Thanks for watching.
They call me a god.